Hey everyone, Couch Investor back to another video for today. So I did owe you still a video about Nubank, New Holdings. They reported earnings 1 week ago. The stock itself has been on a roll since the start of the year, and that's why I would like to start with a look at the graph, because right now, as you can see, on the weekly chart, actually, we are pretty close to being overbought. Not quite yet, but very, very close, as you can see here. MACD extremely bullish there. Now, as you can clearly see here, since the start of the year, the stock has basically close to doubled. I think it's up 60%, maybe a bit more than that. But then if we look at the daily chart, you can clearly see that we have been overbought for the last couple of days now. And this is why, although you will see that the report was extremely good, do expect it to pull back a little bit, because this is not healthy at all. As you can see on the daily chart, extremely overbought, as we've seen just a few seconds ago on the weekly chart. Lots of green candles, one after the other. We went very, very fast on the way up. I would like to see it form a little base and then continue its move. Now, for those that don't know what Nubank, New Holdings is doing, I will link the first video in the top right corner. I'll go over the most important points during this report. That way I can keep it as short as possible. So if you're interested in all of that, sit back and relax. Maybe hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you have not. Would really appreciate that. We're trying to reach 30,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're on our way to reach that goal. And if you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to get the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. So slide number one I want to touch on is basically the major overview here. So it has reached 79.1 million customers. That's a 2.1x since Q1 in 2021. When you look at revenue has increased 6.6 fold since that same quarter up until now, with a CAGR of 147%. If you look at gross profit, that has grown as well, actually accelerated. That has increased by 5.6 times since Q1 2021. And right now, you can see growth across the board, but it does not come at the expense of profitability. You can see here now net income 3 quarters in a row. Now, if you look at the, let's call it target audience, they call it here the target countries. So their target countries account for nearly 2/3 of the population of Latin America. Now, of course, Brazil being the more mature market they're in, there you can see here new shares of adult population, 46%, so still a long way to go. But if you look at Mexico, only 3%, they're there 3 years. And if you look at Colombia, 2 years, only 2%. So still a long way to go there. Now, I think this graph was and is the first time we're seeing this. So they say here we're in the first minute of penetrating a $1 trillion market cap industry. So this is basically, they call it the profit pool of our 3 geos is estimated at $140 billion in profit. So the purple ones is obviously how much news market share is. So you have unsecured personal debt, 3%, secured personal credit, less than 1%, SME credit, less than 1% as well, cards, 11%, of course, very, very famous for that, investment, less than 1%, insurance, less than 1% as well, and then marketplace, the same thing there. So still a very, very long way to go. Of course, I'm not here to tell you that, oh, they're going to take the whole market. No, but a small increase across the board is already good. Then if you look at growth with regards to profitability, you can clearly see that as well. As average revenue per active customers goes up, the cost to serve here basically remains flat. And the same here can be seen with the efficiency ratio has been coming down quarter after quarter. And you can clearly see what happens when you adopt more product. We've seen this with Block as well. So active customers using new accounts as their primary banking account in percentage, you can see that, well, previously it has taken a while to reach that mark of the total 57%. Right now, we're reaching that pretty quickly. As we can see here, number of products per active account, they already start at a much higher mark than previously. The average is 3.8. Right now, we're already starting at over 3. Then monthly average revenue per active customers by quarterly cohort, the average is $8.6. Some are already at $24 per month. And then the new customers, as you can see, will be reaching the average very, very fast. Now, when it comes to net interest income and net interest margin, we can see net interest margin expanded sequentially driven by better credit mix and rising loan to deposit ratio, which can also be seen right here. Deposits increase 34% year over year, and then cost of funding as a percentage of CDI is now 81%. Of course, the previous quarter 78%, but last year 98%. And so overall, as always, they give us this chart right here. Hasn't really changed that much. So they say best in class cost structure lays foundation for sustainable long-term differentiation. So cost to acquire $6.5 per customers. That's $2 in paid marketing. Cost to serve, less than $1, monthly average per active customers. That's approximately 85% lower than incumbents. Cost of risk, 5.5% consumer finance delinquency rate, approximately 25% lower than the Brazilian industry. We're going to have a look at the Brazilian example in just a second. Cost of funding, $15.8 billion in deposits. That's approximately, as we've seen, 80% of CDI. And then one of the last things I want to show you is what will happen with the other markets in the future. Because Brazil, we know Brazil is already a very, very mature market for Nu. Still a long way to go though, but you can clearly see that it has been becoming more profitable each and every quarter. And then for the fiscal year 21 and 22 comparison, you can clearly see already some signs of good profitability ahead, especially if you look at adjusted net income and then annualized return on equity. We've gone from basically close to flat to a nice little improvement there. If you look at gross profit, huge increase here, revenues as well. Now, of course, you can say not every country, South America and Mexico or Colombia, might not follow Brazil's lead because Brazil is maybe one of a kind, has already a pretty good and strong big economy, although interest rates there have been very, very high for a while. They might not replicate these results 100%, and that's something you have to take into consideration. But if Nu showed us something in the last couple of quarters and years throughout their history of a company is that they know how to execute. They know how to go into each and every country and actually become more profitable as a business, but also help that country. People need help with their finances, especially in South America. They'll help create more jobs, education goes up. It's all part of the new mission. We've also seen this with the likes of Mercado Libre, right? It's not just about creating a nice business. It's not just about having the best ecosystem out there. No, it's providing value to the country that you're going in. And that's why I have Meli and Nu in my portfolio as the only South American companies out there, because they execute like no other. Truly remarkable management. I highly suggest, if you have time, listen to some of the podcasts of the CEOs of Nu and Meli. Really, you will understand the business and their vision way better. And so to conclude, another very, very strong quarter by Nu. Of course, the stock, in my opinion, is due for a little pullback. Right now, I'm not considering to add to my position. It's still a small position in my portfolio, but I'm happy with the price I paid. Of course, do share your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.